Employee accounts. Once you sign in using your store admin user login, you can navigate across to the employee accounts page. One of the first steps when you have access to the platform is to set up your team from the employee accounts page. You can see here we have the whole team set up. Each user type has a different level of access to the system. You can create new users by clicking on this icon at the top. The employee role to assign can be selected from this drop-down. You can have a dispenser, a pharmacist locum, a pharmacist manager, and a regional manager. Now, a regional manager will have an overview of all your linked branches, but they will be limited to mainly read-only views of the logs and the balances. They will have minimal editing ability. Then you have the pharmacist manager who has access to be able to make all these changes and amendments, and also, as you can see here, there will be an authorized purchaser on behalf of the store. All these purchases are binding, so if a purchasing authorization is not required for the user, then you need to select pharmacist locum. Below that locum level, you have dispenser. The dispenser mainly has access to be able to create the log entries, fridge entries. They do not have access to the CD balance, they do not have access to the responsible pharmacist log, and they do not have account access to the balance that you can see up here. So they have very limited access. They can do the date checking, which you can see here. Date checking matrix will be available to them. The pharmacy inventory will be available to them, and order screen will be available to them. You can set up dispensers with authorized buyer responsibility, and these dispenser will be able to buy on behalf of the store, and as you're aware, all purchases will be binding. This is reserved for more experienced staff who can be trusted with placing orders. So it's important to consider the level of access granted to each user, as some users will be able to have access to spend from the account balance, whereas other users will not. Each time a user is logged in, there is a two-factor authentication which is used. The store admin can grant access to each individual user that is working on a particular day and restrict access to anyone else. This will ensure that access to the platform is only granted to those colleagues who are currently in the workplace. So from this user management page, you can make changes to each individual colleague. You can restrict their access as a buyer. You can apply that change. That will be saved. You can also, with this drop down, see all your users, disabled users, inactive or password locked users. So it gives you access to an overview of all your colleagues.